Hi, my name is Kaylee, and the article that I chose was from my hedonistic serial killer paper. Um, it's titled "The Use of Criminal Profilers in the Prosecution of Serial Killers" by Chelsea Van Aken. The title for my presentation, or my poster board rather, is "Criminal Profiles. Are they useful?" The abstract. So, analyzing several aspects of criminal profiling, the serial killers in question are/were based in the United States. When explaining certain aspects, several sources were used. Main sources in defining were the FBI Behavioral Unit or National Center for the Analysis of Violent Crime, NCAVC. I would be, if mentioned, it's usually just NCAVC throughout the poster board, while also explaining how a criminal profile is created using typographies, definitions, and possible motives for the profile. The focus is to explain how the creation of criminal profiles exclude many important aspects and can ultimately be dangerous when the suspect doesn't fit the profile, and they generally either, wrongfully accuse or just generally don't apprehend the suspect. Arguing the use to be more towards investigation and a prosecution aid, as well as creating a more diverse and broad definition would aid investigators. The objectives of this paper was to examine every aspect of criminal profiling, meaning the definitions, the motives, typographies, generally like any aspect that will aid in criminal profiling a suspect. Look at examples where criminal profiling may be at fault. So, for example, there is not that much research on female serial killers. So, criminal profiling may or may not exclude female serial killers or any other possible suspects if they did not fit the profile properly. As well, looking at definitions such as hedonistic, different types of female serial killers, like the angel of death, if they're like cult oriented, family targeted, etc. And then also again relating back to female serial killers and mentioning the aspects that don't always aid when it comes to female serial killers. And then the overall main point, which is criminal profiling is not the most concrete and useful tactic when prosecuting a suspect, which is why as well they're abstract and mention it should be used only for investigations. Here's some of the data that was in the paper. So this is a pie chart showing serial killings. 20% was committed by women in 1977. Since most research targets male serial killers, they don't realize the huge amount that they're missing out on when it comes to investigating female serial killers and actually knowing the aspects of one and how to identify one properly. This figure below showcases that 2/3 of serial killers diagnosed with that only 2/3 of serial killers were diagnosed with personality disorders, under like the category of antisocialness, sociopathic, psychopathic, generally just like sociopath and psychopathic. As you can tell, there's 1/3 that wasn't diagnosed, and in criminal profiling, at least for most of the typographies that I was like looking at in this article, it showed that a lot of them were diagnosed with some kind of personality disorder, or in general were screened for something, because I remember reading that some of the serial killers did hear voices, so like they were visionary or mission oriented, like they heard voices that were telling them to, murder. So for the most part, criminal profiling would take in consideration that only or mainly they were diagnosed with some sort of personality disorder, but it doesn't always like take into account this 1/3 that isn't. So if they were to say, oh, this person most likely suffers from sociopathy or psychopathy, they would miss out on 1/3 of the suspects that might fit the profile if they did not have that personality disorder. And then again, types of murder among female serial killers. So there is that how males are usually likely to stab, suffocate. I don't remember really reading into drowning for males, but for females, it is 5%. For their tactics, it's 5% drowning, 11% would stab, 16% suffocated their victims, and then lastly, 20% would use a firearm to murder. And that's only for female. That's not like male serial killers. So the author did point out the fact that most of the research and investigation is done by untrained professionals, meaning not psychologists, not anyone with not anyone with the degree in identifying serial killers. So like may it be from personality to disorders to analyzing their habits. They're all untrained professionals who are actually investigating these cases instead of it being psychiatrists, psychologists, someone with a degree in actually analyzing a human being. This makes it more difficult for identifying any suspects because they will like lose out on certain topic or aspects that a psychologist or psychiatrist might be able to point out. So like I guess something that would be missed on the untrained eye. The definition. So the definition that was given for a serial killer was like known victims, meaning it doesn't say like the possibility of having like 3 murder victims that they haven't found yet. No, it's just known victims. So if they found the body or the the victim, if they found the victim, that's all they would count. So if someone were to murder, like let's say 5 people in total, but they only found 2 bodies, they would barely be registered, or not registered, but like seen or labeled as a serial killer, because the FBI does the definition that was given is that 2 or more serial killers in about like a 2 or more victims is what I meant. Known victims. Meaning even if they did have any victims that weren't, because even if they found 1 victim, it would make it even more difficult because they wouldn't be labeled as a serial killer. If anything, just a murderer, which is a little bit more underestimating it. So that makes it even harder. Like I said, wrongfully labeled or undetected. A lot of serial killers do go undetected because they don't find the victims and they're just, they just murdered 1 person. They're just seen as a murderer and they're only trialed for that 1 murder. Again, the personality disorders, as seen, not always will they be diagnosed with a personality disorder, which makes it even harder to find the serial killer. Typography. The author did mention organized and versus disorganized. So the fault with this is that most serial killers are organized. So she just says to throw it out the window of a possibility of there being a serial killer that is disorganized, since most of the crime scenes have been organized and show signs of organized serial killers. So labeling serial killer disorganized just doesn't make sense anymore. average criminal versus serial killer. So there is points where, like I said, there's only one body found, so they're like, oh, murder, not a serial killer. It's just analyzing the fact that that is a possibility. Also, the definition doesn't look at the environment, victim, and offender relationship. So when taking that in account, you will lose at least one or two, a few suspects at least, because if you're not taking this into consideration, it's like the criminal profile might be a little bit, what is it called? It would be shorter. It would be more focused, I guess, in a sense. It would be concise, and it wouldn't be as open into having more than one possible offender. Again, many flaws generally shouldn't be removed, but just like widely used, like broaden it a little bit more, because it's a little too strict. Possible definition that she gave was there's like I mentioned earlier, there's a possibility of not suffering from antisocial personality disorder. Generally commits repetitive or sequential killings, 3 or more victims. She didn't say known, so I'm assuming just like expected. Cooling off period. Good to use to identify, not to accuse a suspect. So like have a lineup, basically, not specifically, oh, this one person did it, and use this against them. Use all typographies when looking into suspects. So visionary, mission-oriented, hedonistic, sexual, control, predator, paraphilic, sadistic, hate-oriented, thrill, retention-seeking, cult-oriented, family-targeted, and instrumental. This is also including the female serial killers labels, just so that you don't exclude any females that can be a possible serial killer. This would be no additional cost, since, you know, the NCAVC is in charge of the serial killer investigation. Makes it easier. Not much more of a workload. It's just easier to identify in general. And the conclusion was to use a singular definition, since when researching, I myself as well found like at least 3 definitions when it came to serial killers. And it should be applied in all states and federal law. No longer use disorganized or organized. More research done by psychologists and psychiatrists, as I mentioned before. They have degrees in this kind of field and are able to identify behaviors. Include female serial killers, since they are highly underestimated numerically. Then lastly, criminal profile used for investigation, not to apprehend or prosecute an individual. So just to like gather possible suspects, not to actually prosecute and use in a trial. And this is my reference.